Hey guys, Ron here, and you wanted me to create some Pokemon moves, so I did. I did that. You know what Pokemon moves are, so no need to explain. Here are 50 original Pokemon moves, all with different concepts and context for their creation. Some more serious than others, but they're all fake and don't actually exist in the game, so this is all for fun. If I by mistake made a move that already exists, just be polite. Maybe begin your critical comment by saying, Ron, you're very handsome and smart, but you may have made a tiny mistake. After all, it's still technically my birth week, and as you know, I create tons of Fakemon on this channel, so a lot of these can apply to any of my Fakemon. You'll see some of them among the potential Pokemon who can use my new moves. Let me know if you want to see a version of this video where I create abilities. Those are fun too. Now let's begin and go in type order, starting with normal type. It's hard to come up with normal type moves since bites, punches, and kicks are already taken by most other types. What other body part can a Pokemon use? Well, all of them. Here is Overwhelm. The user charges at the foe with their entire body, attacking with every appendage. This move's power is based on the height difference between Pokemon. As far as I know, there isn't any Pokemon move that relies on height difference. Now what if there was a move that only your ace can use? Like Expert Attack. This move can only be used by the highest level Pokemon in your party. This Pokemon uses its vast experience to land a devastating hit. Its power is based on whether its physical or special attack stat is higher. Now if Thunderous Kick exists, what if there was a godlike Pokemon who can damage a foe with their clap? Here is Thunderous Clap. The user claps their hands with immense vigor, creating a shockwave that lowers the foe's defense, but damages the user a little bit. This attack does special damage. Since you don't need any fighting technique to clap, it would be a normal type move. Grass type is next. Many grass types have foliage and straight up bushes on their body, so why wouldn't they use that as defense as well? To soften the blow, you know? So I made Overgrowth. The user raises its physical and special defense by instantly growing the thick vegetation on its body. And why don't we have a future sight variation? Here's a grass type version. Germinate. 2 turns after this move is used, sharp shoots sprout out of the ground and attack the target. Fire type is up next. Some more variations of Fly wouldn't hurt, and fire types can technically fly if they have enough thrusting power, so here is Rocket Jump. The user propels itself into the air with fire and then strikes the target in the next turn. Also, fire can be multiple colors, so check out Rainbow Flame. The user scorches the foe with a colorful blast of fire that may land a critical hit. This can also leave the target with a burn. It's basically a special counterpart to Blaze Kick. Water type is the most abundant type, but we still don't have any easily accessible physical water type moves above 100% power, so here is Riptide. The user drags the opponent into a powerful current with great pressure. It may confuse the opponent. It's basically a physical hydro pump with a 10% chance of confusion. Slash is also a reliable move, so how about a water version? And that could be Pressure Wash. The user slices the foe with a water-covered blade. Critical hits land more easily. Time for electric type. I like moves whose added effects aren't related to their type, so how about Burning Thunder? A blast of electricity is unleashed on the opponent at a high temperature. This may leave the target with a burn. I've always been disappointed with the lack of reliable and powerful physical electric type moves, so here is Electric Horn. The user charges at the foe with electrically charged horns. This may leave the target with paralysis. The fighting type exists as well, and it's honestly the easiest to come up with moves for, so check out Breakdance. The user skillfully spins on its hands and kicks all adjacent foes. And Focus Blast is the only super powerful special fighting type move, so I made another variation of Aeroblast that some future Chinese-inspired legendary can use, even Urshifu. It's called Ki Blast. A steady beam of life force is shot at the opponent. It has a high critical hit ratio. While Aura Sphere is basically thrown at the opponents, this Ki Blast is more of a sustained energy beam like a Kamehameha, but I also made a move based on an actual phenomenon. Second Wind. The user suddenly finds the strength to press on at top performance. This sharply raises attack and speed, but only can be used if the user's HP is half or less. Flying type is naturally next. I made a very useful flying type move called Gale Force. The user generates a storm that bombards the opponent with wet wind, washing away any stat change among all Pokemon on the field. We're also lacking a mid-level physical flying type move that is more powerful than Aerial Ace, so I made a physical version of Air Slash. Talon Shred. The user attacks with its sharp talons that slice the opponent. It may also make the target flinch. Poison type is next, and it was hard to come up with names that didn't have deadly diseases in them. I noticed Belch was the only special move above 100 base power, but you need a berry for that, so I made a physical version of Gunk Shot. Pestilence. The user shoots the target with a concentrated beam of toxic waste. This has a high chance of poisoning the opponent. There was also no physical poison type move between 80 and 120 base power, so here is Infection. The user injects the target with poison that may badly poison the foe. Bug time. There is no special bug type move stronger than Bug Buzz, so I took some inspiration from the Bombardier Beetle's spray and created Beetle Bomb. The user swiftly ejects a hot, noxious spray that may burn the opponent. That's a whopping 30% chance of burning. And you know how bee stings can basically kill the bee when their stinger rips off inside of its victim? So here is a bug-type double-edged counterpart called Defiant Sting. The user embeds its stinger in the target, harshly damaging the user in the process. Ground type came naturally. Of course, you gotta make a move called Quicksand. The ground is turned into quicksand, limiting the movement of the foe, so the target can't use contact move for 5 turns. Then I thought of a neat move inspired by earthbending and Star Wars called High Ground. The user raises a platform out of the earth beneath it. This sharply raises the user's evasion until they use a move that makes contact. Cause since they have the high ground, they have an advantage until they need to come down to punch their opponent. The next move finally gives us a special attack between 90 and 70 base power. Aftershock. The earth is shaken and its shockwaves hit the target a turn later. Now I have the most complaints about rock type moves, so I finally made a decent rock type move without any catch. Sediment Smack. The user smacks the opponent with a rocky palm. Weirdly, there isn't any physical rock type move between 75 and 100 base power, so here are 2. Molten Rock. The target is attacked with a boiling rock that may leave it with a burn. And 10 Carat Claw. The target is crushed with a diamond claw. And what if more non-electric types could paralyze their opponents? The solution is Petrify. The user generates a rock shell on the target, which paralyzes them. It's odd that there aren't any cement-based moves either, so I imagine a rock water type would use Cement Throw. The user hurls a great deal of heavy cement at the target. This may also lower the target's speed. This move harshly lowers the target's speed in harsh sunlight. You know, since it would dry faster. But that's enough rock. Ice type deserves some rep. I based my first move on an optical phenomenon where vertical beams of light appear when light is reflected from tiny ice crystals in the air. This illusion is called Light Pillar. The target is hit with a blinding beam of ice crystals. This may lower the target's accuracy. The next move simply sounded epic, and we were in the market for a physical ice type move with 90 base power, so beware, Ice Axe. The user generates an axe made of ice and proceeds to hack at the target. This may freeze the foe. Psychic is next. We got a meaty assortment of new moves. First is a form of ESP, Psychometry. The user employs their extrasensory powers to discover the ability and item the opponent is holding. The next move is obvious, and has a 30% chance of confusion. Vertigo. The target is hit with a force that disturbs their balance. This may also confuse the target. I wonder why that already hasn't been made a move, including the next one. Pyrokinesis. The user telekinetically produces a flame that is shot at the target. This may burn the foe. And naturally, there isn't a psychic move that deals physical damage stronger than Psystrike, so here's a creative move based on astral projection. Astral Assault. The user projects a psychic body that attacks the opponent, dealing physical damage. This lowers the defense and special defense of the user though, since the user's body is barely protected as they control their astral projection. It makes sense that such a powerful move would have a giant weakness. Dark type is the hardest to come up with moves without sounding too brutal. I tried by making another version of Outrage called Rampage. The user indiscriminately attacks for 2 or 3 turns. It then becomes confused, however. I made it because it's weird how there aren't many super powerful dark type moves, but a weaker move is Severe Fear. The user turns its fear into a wave of aura that damages the foe. The power of this move doubles when the user has low HP. Since this power grows the more the user is afraid, I thought it would be more powerful when the user's HP was lower than a third. And finally, Plunder. The user attacks the target, secretly stealing money from the opposing trainer. Basically, dark type payday. Ghost type was fun. There are moves that allow normal types to touch ghost Pokemon, but what about the other way around? So I created Apparate. The user materializes its body, allowing its ghost type moves to hit normal type Pokemon. If I make a video about new abilities, this could be a candidate for an ability as well. But if a Pokemon has no access to this move or potential ability, I made Corporeal Claw. The user reveals its tangible hand to slash the opponent. This move can hit normal type Pokemon. Dragon is next. A move inspired by Asian Dragon's abilities to grant wishes is a new variation of Roost. It's geniusly called Dragon Wish. Using its indomitable dragon soul, the user restores half of its maximum HP. The user loses its dragon typing during this turn. A move that has 30% of flinching is called Serpent Swipe. The user knocks the opponent off its feet using its long tail. This may make the target flinch. Now Steel is another type I'm unsatisfied with, in terms of reliable moves at least, so here's the least reliable move. Iron Maiden. The user attempts to wrap its sharp body around the target. The target instantly faints if this attack hits. Okay, now how about a move a bit more reliable than a one-hit KO move? A special variation of Quick Attack called Quicksilver. The user rapidly shoots metallic liquid at the target, potentially poisoning the foe. Shooting mercury isn't the most powerful though, so here's a powerful steel-type move without any huge catch or requirement. Hydraulic Press. The user slowly but surely flattens the target with considerable force. This attack always moves last. I assume a water steel type would have that move. The last steel move simply had a cool name, so I had to create it. Piston Punch. This high priority move strikes the opponent with a calamitous kick. And finally, Fairy type. Other than Spirit Break, we don't have any mid-levels physical fairy type move, so I made a swift variation called Enchanted Blade. The user casts a spell on its sharp claw or blade before slashing the target. This move never misses. And what about something even more magical and mysterious, like Incantation? The user verbally charms the target with a curse that harshly lowers a random stat. What about a similar move called Bewitch? The opponent is cursed with a random status condition. There are also no easily accessible physical fairy moves above 90 base power, so here is another pedal dance variation called Devotion Dance. The user chaotically dances with extreme fervor, attacking the opponents for 2 to 3 turns. However, it becomes confused once its dance is done. And to finish off on a wholesome note, so that you're in the spirit to like and subscribe, I created a move that makes the target guilty about hurting you. It's called Befriend. The user gifts the opponent its item. The target's attack and special attack are harshly lowered. Obviously, this only works if the user is holding a usable item like berries or gems. And if you want to gift me something, just leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to check out the previous art videos like turning average Pokemon into legendaries or creating microscopic Pokemon. Consider becoming a patron or clicking the join button to get cool rewards like seeing videos days early and a huge discount on the t-shirts I made for you guys. Follow me on Twitter where I post sneak peeks of my art too. Bye!